Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey, friends, come and join me for a minute and just imagine how fabulous you'd feel living the unique and distinct life that you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love with people you love in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. Well, that's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you, it makes a very happy life. And so can my friend, Allison Wojtowecz. And she's here to share her unique and distinct journey to her life of significance. But before we bring her on, I'd like to share a poem that we created to thank her for being our guest star today. It's called The Legend of Wojtowecz. And it goes like this. In a world full of names that are tricky to say, this one from Poland humbles mouths every day. When asked how to say it, she says with a twitch, it's Wojtowecz, pronounced badass bitch. Behind every laugh, there's a truth she'll reveal, that humor can heal us and honesty seals the deal. Allison cracks jokes, but her mission is true, to wake up your courage and ignite the real you. So tune in and join us, come witness her spark, her wisdom, her mischief, her way hits the mark. If you're craving a breakthrough, whatever the sitch, call Allison Wojtowecz. She's a badass bitch. Hey, Allie Woe, welcome to the show.
That was awesome. I love that. Is that the surprise that you said you had for me?
Let me tell you, when I saw your pronunciation on Facebook, I started laughing and I said, somehow I've got to build that into the poem. And we had a lot of work to do on it, but I think we pulled it off. So I'm glad
You
you
nailed
enjoyed
it.
it.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Very good. So just get us started by telling us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world.
Okay. The short answer is that I am a stand-up comedian and I still currently have my hands in the health and fitness world to some degree with marketing clients as well. Um, for me, I always wanted to perform. That's just the thing that I like. I like spreading joy, telling stories in that way. Grew up acting, but if you grow up acting and that's kind of your goal as an adult, you're told all your life that you're not going to make money at it
Mm,
and you're going to need to have a day job and all those things. And so for me, I knew that I wanted to be smart with my finances, not be the starving artist if it was possible. But if I was going to have a day job, I wanted to care about that and still help people too. So I didn't want to just, do the standard, like, let me go drive Uber, although I have done that before,
mm,
let me go be a waitress. There's nothing wrong with those things, but I care about too many other things for that to be what I'm doing for work long term.
mm.
Um, so I started out as a personal trainer, nutrition coach, because those things matter to me. And I think you can be much happier and feel much better about your life day to day, no matter what you're doing, if you're healthier. So, kind of started from that angle where I was like, if I'm going to have a day job, I may as well help people be healthier.
Yeah.
And um, personal training when you wake up at 4 a.m. to be at the gym at 5 doesn't really work out too well when you're at open mics or rehearsing until 10, 11 o'clock at night. So,
It's
um,
a challenging calendar.
yeah, so I kind of quickly got more involved with the online world of things in the health industry, helping supplement companies that I believed in or events companies that I believed in throughout the years. I've been in the health and fitness industry for about 10 years now as well, but mostly on the marketing side of things. And as I've become a better comedian, and gotten more involved in that industry, I'm able to help market some of those people and those clubs too.
Mm,
So I
very
would say
good.
even my day job now is comedy and health and fitness, which is very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you can see me. I love smiling. I've always been very smiley. I was bullied as a kid for laughing too much. So like to me,
Ah,
I don't know. I want people to not take things as seriously or at least be able to laugh at pretty much anything that happens because you're kind of taught in theater school that you're going to experience catharsis, and the main ways that you experience that are crying, laughing, or screaming.
Mm,
I'd much rather pick laughing, you know?
yes.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of a little bit of what's going on over here.
Very good. All right, Allison, let's do a little mathematics so our friends all around the world can get to know you through our happy formula. It's really simple, but it's super powerful, and it goes like this. Power plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with power. What are your personal practices for building up all the power that you need to get things done, whether it's physically, mentally, financially, you mentioned, spiritually, emotionally? In other words, what do you do on a regular basis to create all the power that you need to take excellent care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left in the tank to be a giver to others?
That's a good question. I think it does come back to what I said in the beginning, where I think if you're healthier, everything else is easier to accomplish. So once I kind of got out of the gym and I was able to have a little bit more of my own flexibility in the mornings, for me, having a slow morning is important if I can at all make that happen, even if it's just an hour that's for me in the morning.
Hmm.
And I call it a slow morning because my practice kind of varies day to day. I always meditate and pray, but sometimes I sit down and the meditation is 10 minutes. Sometimes it's much longer. Sometimes I have more to pray about than other times. But then it kind of can expand from there. I love Wim Hof breathing in the morning. I love red light in the morning. I bought tuning forks a couple weeks ago that I'm
Well,
really obsessed with right now. Just things to like that are shown to be good for you that aren't food or exercise.
yeah.
They're good for your cells, they're good for your spirit, things like that to just kind of get you in touch with yourself before you go do all these other things throughout the day, is very important to me. And piggybacking on that, if you start your morning in a good way, that way you're more likely to eat healthy, you're more likely to want to go get some sunlight, you're more likely to want to move around. And the end of my day matters too. I really prioritize sleep. I know I kind
Mm,
of mentioned that a second ago where I was like, I wasn't sleeping enough with this old setup. Sleep really is the magic pill for so many things. So
hmm.
I prioritize sleep a lot. And if you're well rested, you can get things done more efficiently throughout the day.
Yeah. And then tell the audience, and I'd like to hear too, um, how much energy and juice and does stand-up comedy give you, being on the stage and making people laugh? Tell us what does that do for your energy?
It's I mean, it's exhausting and like energizing at the same time, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
like I said, I grew up acting and I grew up theater acting. So I was already aware of how to be on stage and the energy of an audience watching you. But stand up is so much different in certain ways because when you're acting in a play, you're supposed to ignore the audience. You're in the world of the play.
Mhm.
You're holding tension for these serious moments and letting it break when they're supposed to
Mm,
laugh. And when you're doing stand up, you're supposed to make eye contact with them. You're supposed to break the fourth wall the whole time. And
mm,
that was so difficult for me for a long time. And I still describe it this way. I don't want to be the center of attention when I'm off stage. I only want the attention when I'm supposed to have it. I think that's a very common trope for especially theater kids, but even comedians, that
mhm,
they're like attention hogs or something. That's
mhm.
that's not true for me, and for a lot of the comedians I know, that's also true. They're awkward off stage. They don't want to
Mhm.
do it, but I would say if you have a good set, it's like the most energizing thing in the world, and you still will have an adrenaline dump afterwards where you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. That was so
Yeah.
easy. Let me sip on some coffee and sit in the back for a few minutes." But if it's a bad set, it's like, oh my God, that was so awful because you want it to go well. You want the crowd to like
Yeah.
what you have to say. You don't want to upset someone. You don't want to make them feel awkward because you had a bad.
Yeah.
So it's very much dependent, I would say, on the state of the comedian going on stage and how the audience perceives them, whether it's
Yeah.
energizing or exhausting. But it's worth
Got it.
it to me. It's worth the good sets are worth it to me, and you know you're getting better when your good sets outnumber the bad sets.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that'll lead us right into the next one. So let's discuss my favorite power generating concept. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And
mm,
it's this beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And it's so powerful because it's all about your mindset, not circumstance. Kaizening life is knowing I can always do something better tomorrow than today. And it creates a gentle, relentless, never-ending power that keeps lifting me higher day by day by day. So, Allison, how does Kaizen in your life and your comedy? I'd like to hear that. How does Kaizen in your life help you increase your power to continuously become more so you can continue to give more and impact even more lives?
Well, if we're talking about it from the perspective of the small incremental changes, I think for me, the way that I stay on track for that is comparing myself to myself. It's
Hmm.
so easy to compare yourself to other people, especially when in an industry like comedy, everyone's constantly putting out content. They're
Yeah.
constantly performing every night. They're bothering you for, like, I'm a show producer as well. They're asking me for spots. Like, there's all these different things, right? So keeping the eye on the prize, which is just me becoming better at what I want to be good at, is
Hmm.
so important because I would just be so lost in the sauce if I was looking at everyone else all the time. And the
Hmm.
way that I practice Kaizen, especially in comedy, this is one of my favorite things I tell people, especially the first year that I started it. I went to open mics every single night of the week,
Hmm.
sometimes multiple. And I have recorded, like audio recorded every single set that I've ever done, whether it's an open mic or a arena performance. It's always been recorded on my phone just so that I can go back and listen afterwards and have an objective analysis of what happened.
Hmm.
Because you can kind of start to learn to be objective on stage after a few years. Let me just put this into perspective too. I'm 7 years into comedy. I'm still considered fairly new, which is
Hmm.
so unreal for like any other industry. I told you I've been in the fitness industry for 10 years now. I'm considered like a knowledge base because I've been there for 10 years. But
Hmm.
in comedy, if you're less than 10 years, you're new. Um,
Hmm.
so I say that because, like, anytime I would go to a mic, I would do whatever, I would force myself to listen back to the audio because 9 times out of 10, I didn't have a good judgment of what actually happened.
Hmm.
You're dealing with being present in the moment, you're dealing with your own energy, the audience's energy, all those different things. There's been times where I've gotten off stage and been like, oh my gosh, I bombed. That was so bad. And my friends were like, what are you talking about? Go back and listen to that audio. And then I listened and I was wrong. Uh,
Yeah.
and that becomes more of a challenge as you become a better comedian, I think, or more experienced. Like, if I'm going on stage and I'm doing prepared material, which is what the goal is all the time, we write jokes ahead of time, and the goal is to go up and do the jokes that we wrote. But
Hmm.
audiences now are so rowdy that half the time you end up doing crowd work, you end up saying these things you weren't planning on saying. A lot of it's like in the moment.
Yeah.
That's so uncomfortable for me, like especially as a theater kid that was taught don't go off script.
Yeah.
So the crowd work aspect of it has been really challenging for me to learn, but I'm getting better at it. But like this happened on Friday. I hosted a show. It was a good show. I was paid well for it. I had a ton of fun, but I had to open the show and the crowd was rowdy. And I got off stage afterwards being like, that was a 10-minute set. And I did maybe 3 minutes of actual jokes because the
Mm.
crowd was so crazy. I just was like calling people out for different things and like kind of riffing off of what was happening. And I didn't feel like it was a good set because I literally didn't remember what I said. I had said all of
Yeah.
those things for the first time. And so I went back and listened to the audio after my friends were like, no, that was a good set. And they were right. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, just finding ways to be objective and compare myself to myself is the best way I can say I practice that most of the time. That goes for workouts, that goes for eating well, anything really.
Yeah. It's a good practice, and it reminds me of one of my a favorite quote of mine that says, "Other people's opinion of you is none of your business."
Yeah. Yeah, and that's so hard to get over, especially in an industry where like in comedy or acting or something like that, everyone's like, "Oh, you need fans. You can't be getting canceled out there." And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to say things that everyone's going to agree with all the time. If someone
Yeah.
gets mad at me, that's their opinion and it's okay. Like
Yeah.
it's wasting my energy to think about that.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's explore purpose. That's the second part of the happy formula. And I've observed, Allison, that major life transformations, that big discovery of purpose, often comes from devastation, addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster, something awful strips a life to its core, resulting in a big and often unexpected change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover the purpose of my life using inspiration. So, how about you, Allison? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the unique and distinct purpose you are meant to live?
I don't, I've always felt like I didn't want to listen to anyone telling me I needed to focus. I've always had this like bigger idea of just how I wanted to feel in my life and how I wanted to structure my life in my day. So I don't necessarily think there was something early on in my childhood, like a one-time thing that stands out as this is what made me feel that way or want to pursue that.
Mm.
But I was engaged a few years ago and I had to end that engagement,
Oh,
which was something I never thought I would ever have to do. I figured if I got to the point where I said I was going to marry someone, then I really meant it and I really did mean it, which is why it felt so terrible that I had to end it. But it got to the point where it was not going to be good if I stayed. Um,
mm.
and so that really broke me down because it was, I had always felt like like I said, I felt like I just had this like assuredness in myself. I had this confidence in myself. And I loved being in a relationship with someone that felt supportive of that for a long time. And then the things that happened that caused me to have to end that engagement at the end of the relationship were so like out of left field, slap me in the face. I can't, did I even know this person?
Yeah.
Um,
Jeez.
it really just made me feel like, oh, if I couldn't even tell that the person I was going to marry was doing these things, then like, how do I even actually know myself? And it kind of made me
Mm.
realize that that relationship had made me lose a lot of my sense of self too. I had done so much to try and salvage it and make things work that one of my friends pointed out to me that I said I'm sorry like 10 times in 5 minutes about just
Yeah.
stupid, like it was
Yeah.
obvious that I was used to being manipulated to some degree and or just like trying to accommodate anything anyone else wanted without sticking up
Yeah.
for myself. And so, I mean, I ended that engagement 3 years ago. So I've had some time since then, obviously, but that
So
was a,
how long did it take you to well, I'd like to hear a couple things if you don't mind.
yeah.
It's hard for people to change something. So what gave you the courage to end it? Because in my first marriage, I should have ended it, but I
Yeah.
didn't. And fortunately for me, long circumstances and which I don't need to go into here, but my first wife ended it. And when it happened, I was like, "Oh my goodness, thank you." But I
Yeah.
didn't have the courage. That's the way I would say. I didn't have the courage to do what I knew was better for me. And so, how did you recognize that? How did you find the courage to do that? And then, how low did you go? And how did you get back out of that hole?
There was definitely a straw that broke the camel's back, but there were a couple of things that were leading up to it. I mean, it's one of those things too, where it's like hindsight is 2020. I look back and I
Correct.
see the 50 times I should have ended it before we got engaged.
Of course.
But what I noticed, so we got engaged in December and then we broke up at the end of April. So we were engaged for like 4 or 5 months. Um, and he had moved in with me and I did not put two and two together for months, but I had started noticing, and he moved in with me and my best friend. We had a lease that was almost over, so let's all save money for a couple of months, and then he and I will get a place and whatever. Um, when he moved in with us, I started saying to my best friend, like, dude, I think I have like a gut problem, which is so crazy because like I I'm so into health, right? Like gut health is my jam, but it got to the point where I couldn't keep any food down. If I
Mm,
tried to eat just like I love eggs in the morning, I just make, eggs and avocado toast or whatever. I would have to run to the bathroom. I either felt like I was going to puke or it would just go right through me. And it happened with every meal that was hitting me. And I
mm,
truly was like, did I develop Crohn's? Like, what is going on? And that happened for about a month or two. And then as we kept like living together, and I called my mom every once in a while, being like, Mom, I'm losing, like she thought I had an eating disorder. She thought I was intentionally not
yeah.
eating, which was a problem of mine in college. So she was justified in having that concern, but I genuinely was just losing weight because I couldn't keep food down. And I was scared too. I was like, I'm not trying to lose this weight right now. I don't have any weight to lose. And so that was like the big red flag that started it. Um,
Mm,
And then honestly, the straw that broke the camel's back was he was supposed to be sober from alcohol. He had issues with it. And my roommate
Mm,
caught him stealing a bottle of hers
mm.
and drinking it behind my back. And we figured out that it was like his pattern. When I would go to shows, he would out
Mhm.
and go out and drink and come back and just be asleep before I came home, so I didn't notice.
Yeah.
And to me, I was like, if you're lying about that, you're lying about all sorts of other things. I can't do that.
So that was it was crushing. And how long were you in the crush, and how did you come out of it? And for our audience to understand, you must feel just so grateful that you made that decision today.
I am. I mean, yeah, I think about it now and I'm like, I would not be where I am professionally with friends, confidence
Mm,
in myself, health-wise. My comedy probably wouldn't be as good. Yeah, all around it was a very good decision. And I know now, if a relationship only feels like it's draining me, I can't maintain that anymore. It's taught me
yeah.
very much that that applies to any relationship, not just
Yeah.
romantic. I would say
100%.
the really deep, like, oh my God, just depression and getting over it was probably like physical debilitation was a couple of months.
Wow.
And then, I started doing things to try and fix my gut health, like keep food down again, stuff like that. Uh, to be honest, I said it was 3 years ago. That's true. There's still like now I'm at the point where I'm trying to put myself out there and date again. And as I'm meeting people, I'm finding all these new triggers of like, I don't believe what he just said because that's what this guy used to do and he never followed up and like all these different things. So I feel like right now I'm kind of going through re-healing some of those things again because I feel
Hmm.
so confident in myself. The thought that came to me that like I can only describe as like God when I made the decision to break up with him, the clear thought that I had was you know how to be happy alone. You no longer know how to be happy with this person. And
Mm,
I was like, dang it. I call them like SOS prayers. If I say an SOS prayer
hmm.
and I 100% mean it, things change in my life within like a week. And that's a long
Hmm.
timeline. Typically things change like the next day if I say a prayer like that. And I had said a prayer like, God, I don't know what's going on with my stomach right now. My health is a wreck. I'm stressed. I
Hmm.
can't sleep. Please just make it so clear to me what needs to change. And I woke up the next day and the first thought was like, you know how to be happy single. You no longer know how to be happy with this person. It's him.
Wow.
And so, I mean, I feel like I'm in a very good place now personally and being able to take care of myself. And as I step out into the dating world again, I'm working on catching those triggers for myself and reminding myself, hey, he's not that person, like
Yeah. Yeah.
this
Yeah.
new guy is not the old guy.
Yeah.
Let him show you that someone can actually be nice to you when you date them because
Yeah.
I've realized I've dated a lot of people that are probably just with me because I'm there, which is not the energy that you want. You want someone that
Yeah.
likes you for you. So,
Yeah. That's right.
yeah.
Well, very good. Thank you for all that, Allison. And before we go to take a break, you mentioned that gut health is your jam. And I just want you to tell the audience you don't mean that eating jam helps your gut health.
No, I actually would not recommend a jam. It's high in sugar, which is bad for the bad gut. It's good for the bad gut bacteria. So, or maybe like sugar-free jam as long as it's not aspartame. Or like only the fruit sugars is fine. But yeah, yeah, I don't recommend jam for gut health.
There you go. All right, now let's take a quick commercial break so our sponsor can spread a little love with our audience.
Are you ready to transform your life? At happyliving.com, we've discovered 4 keys to help you live with purpose, joy, and significance. Unlock your truth with the Happy Quiz. Unlock your happy formula with inspiring stories from the Something Significant Show. Unlock your roadmap to happiness with our free ebook, Making Your Mark of Significance. And unlock your inspired life with our life-changing e-course, The Philosophy of You and Your Inspired Life. This is your time to shine. Go to happyliving.com now and click Unlock the Power of You. Unlock your power. Live your best life. happyliving.com.
We are a community broadcasting network based in North Carolina, dedicated to providing accessible educational content to benefit everyone. Here at WYTV7, our mission is to provide transparency and integrity, sharing real-life touching stories that matter. We are an all-exclusive and diverse network, assisting others in youth empowerment training, helping the underprivileged, supporting and strengthening families and individuals, self-help awareness, giving scholarships, and helping essential community workers. Our mission is made possible by our wonderful volunteers, as well as supporters like you. Consider donating or volunteering with us to help us keep our mission going.
And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Allison Wojtowecz, a dynamic, multi-hyphenate force of nature, and a stand-up comedian. As a stand-up comedian, actress, wellness coach, fitness expert, social media strategist, and founder of Flabs to Fitness, Allison blends humor, health, and high performance in a way that's uniquely hers. She invites others to get honest, get curious, and reclaim responsibility for their well-being. Her courage, clarity, and truth-telling spirit make her a powerful catalyst for growth, healing, and real personal transformation. And Allison, I love that get honest, get curious, and get responsible stuff. And I think you're going to love this article that I found called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. It says the simple act of giving can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. Science confirms that when we give our time, our talents, and our treasure, it doesn't just help others, but it transforms us too. It helps us overcome obstacles, it helps us find meaning, and it helps us discover our purpose. So I updated our formula. Power plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So how about you, Allison? Has giving your time, talents, and treasure been a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose and for getting through hardships and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel very lucky that my parents kind of felt the same way as a kid. They really encouraged like volunteer work when I was growing up. I was very involved in a lot of student orgs when I was a kid too. So I appreciate that those kind of they require volunteer hours, but for good reason, right?
Mhm.
You end up learning how all of those things work, and that's translated into adulthood. I'm one of those people that like I try to just be helpful in my daily life.
Mhm.
I like to keep snacks and waters in my car for homeless people that I see as I'm driving by, or
Mm.
little things like that to just be nice to people throughout the day. Like I remember one of my uncles who's super Catholic was asking me why I haven't gone on like a mission trip as an adult because I did quite a few in high school. And I told him, I feel like my life is just a mission now. Like, I don't know,
Mm.
the vibe of, being more like Jesus has kind of always just rang really true for me. And I think that can only be accomplished by trying to be a good person every single day. It's not like we pick this
Mhm.
1 week or 1 month of the year where we go out of the country and help people. It's like, no, we need to be kind all of the time in our community. That's not to say I don't still help with things. There was a mission I went on in high school. I'd still donate to them every day. I like to sponsor an orphan, things like that.
Mhm.
But in my day to day, I feel like I'm helping people too, just because any of the brands that I work with, I really love to lead with educational marketing. So it's like we're actually providing value to people
Yeah.
without them having to pay us for anything. Like I
Yeah.
genuinely just want people to understand how their bodies work more because
Yeah.
you're living in this thing, right? Like you should understand what's going on in it and how it works. And if you do that, you feel better and then you can go pursue your purpose more. So yeah, like and I had a hard time honestly like switching from being in the gym, like helping people every day to being more on the computer and like helping brands and like doctors push their message out, but I thought about it and to me the choice was like, okay, either I quit performing, which is a thing that I love to do that's good for my soul. I quit performing for a few years so that I can build my own fitness brand and do all of these things to help people. Or I can use the skills that I already have, which is marketing, hop on with a doctor that already is advanced and known and help amplify their message more. That's going to reach more people that need us. I mean, one of the companies I work with was started around the time I graduated college. So I've been with them since I was literally an intern. And it's been so cool to watch them go from no one paying attention to anything they're sharing to now they have a huge following and we get to answer all these health questions and like help people do their blood work and find what's right for them. And just the testimonials are so worth it. Like you really don't even realize if you're someone who's interested in health, you don't realize how unhealthy the system has left a lot of
Yes,
people because
absolutely.
they trust the system that
Yep.
says they're going to help them and it does
Yep.
the opposite.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right.
So I really, really like that I've integrated helping people as one of the things that I try to do every single day.
And just what you said, you know, just reading the testimonials, that makes you feel good. Why?
Mhm.
You don't get anything for it, but but we do. And
Yeah, exactly.
so that's what the science tells us, that giving to others helps bring real meaning to our lives. And the joy we feel when we're doing work that creates value for others confirms it. But there's something more to it than just the giving, Allison. You see, I believe that the magic of life comes when you're giving from living in your purpose, because that's where the joy flows, and not just to the receiver, but to the giver too, and even to people witnessing the giving. So, Allison, the audience and I would like to witness what that magic looks like in your life. So please sit back, open your heart, and have a listen to what people are saying about the impact that you're making in their lives by giving from living in your purpose. One person told me, only highly intelligent people can be that funny. And highly intelligent people are often cynical, angry, frustrated, and don't care about their fellow man. Allison steps outside that paradigm. Another said, Allison makes working out and making healthy choices virtually fun and can make a huge difference in your life. And another said, Allison is an excellent resource for all things fitness. Others said, she believes life should be enjoyed and being healthy helps us enjoy it. She's helpful, humble, and empathetic, observant, reflective, funny, but never mean. Allison is the answer to so many things. Her website is so easy to understand. She provides information in simple terms. And finally, this person said simply, Allison is enthusiastic about life. So, Allison, how does all that incredible love make you feel?
It's always so weird to me to hear what other people have to say, but those were very kind. I appreciate you sharing that with me. Um, I always tell people, like, if I get recognized around town, which to be clear, I grew up in Austin and I get on stage in front of thousands of people a year. It still blows my mind every single time someone comes up to me and they're like, I've seen you, you made me laugh, da da da. And it's very like I'm not doing it for that, but it's so nice to get that reflection back from people to just know that if your intent is good and you're putting out things that you hope are good into the world, that it does come back to you eventually is very nice.
And that's it, folks, right there. You can see it in Allison's face. That's what the show is all about. We're here, Allison and me, and all our guest stars, to encourage you, our listeners, to find that same magic in your life. It's available for you. It's available for everyone. That's what I believe. And it comes from this great, big, happy circle. Giving your time, talents, and treasures is a powerful pathway to discovering your purpose. And then giving from living in your purpose brings a profound joy to your life and to the lives of those around you too. So it seems that giving leads to purpose and giving from purpose leads to joy. So Allison, if I'm going to fully capture the exponential power of our happy formula, I've got to tweak it just a little bit more to power times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Sounds a lot like what I was saying about I want to live like Jesus. Just keep keep spreading the love.
You know, you mentioned that, and I was going to say at the time, and I just let it go. But back to our Kaizening segment, and then being more like Jesus, and I've come up with the hashtag Kaizening Jesus, because really that's what it is, just a little bit more every day, right? And we can never get there, but a little more every day. Okay, wonderful, Allison. So let's wrap things up with the lightning round. I love the power of words. and the capacity for great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few that reminded me of your humor, your courage, and your tenacious spirit. And I'm going to ask you to tell us what pops into your mind, not the first word, but the first thoughts that come to your mind, because we call this a lightning round.
Okay.
Here we go. From Thornton Wilder. Realize life while you live it every minute.
How did you every minute? I can't, that's crazy. That was the first lead role I ever had in a play, and obviously it means a lot to me. I don't have something like short to say about that other than I got this tattoo with my grandma on her birthday. This
Very
is this is her handwriting, and she says basically that sentiment to me all the time. Like anytime I talk to her, she just keeps saying, enjoy it every minute.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what's that mean to you? Just to live life every day. So what is, you put it on your arm, what does it mean to you?
The context of that, I promise this is short. The context of that quote is that the lead character is dead and she gets to go back and witness any day of her life.
Hmm.
She just picks a random day when she's like 11 or something.
Hmm.
And she loses her mind throughout that act as she's watching this replay of this day in her life because she realizes no one is stopping to notice the beauty of everything around them.
Ah,
She ends up asking the angel slash narrator that lets her witness, the day of her life. She's like, this is crazy. Everything's so beautiful. We're all so young. We're all so happy. We're all alive. Like, I can't believe we're not stopping and noticing and telling each other we love each other. Do any
hmm.
human beings ever realize life while they live it every minute? And he says no. And she goes,
Wow.
take me back to the graveyard. And
Yeah.
that's how the play ends. And that just stuck with me so much because it's true. Like,
Hmm.
I made myself cry watching a video of myself from high school the other day that I forgot about. And I was like, oh my God, she's so cute and innocent. And like, it's just,
Yeah.
I had a moment of that. So it's a reminder to be more present. And even when there's things going on that you dislike, you literally can pause and just look around and be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm in this house that I can afford. And,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
whatever.
So I heard not the other day, several years ago, I heard this said once, and then I heard it again in a different environment, and then I read it a third time, like in the course of 3 or 4 days, and it said the present moment is where time, our human time, intersects eternity.
Mm, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like that's the only place you can be that's real, and that's where all of it is. That's where everything is. So I didn't realize that your quote was so closely related to that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy.
Okay, so this one's from Anais Nin, who said, "Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage."
I agree with that because if you think you can, you can, and if you think you can't, you also can't.
Yeah, very good.
It's one of those, yeah, yeah. You have to give yourself permission before anyone else will.
Yeah. This is from Shakespeare. You'll recognize this one too. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them.
That was the first quote that I had on my website, and I like that one of those options is controllable by the person, the achieving
Mm.
greatness. You can choose to achieve greatness. You can look at your situation and say, I wasn't born great. I don't know if I'm ever going to become great. You can choose to try and achieve it though. You can make a plan for that.
And just go a little bit deeper on that. Would you agree with me that achieving greatness is finding just your own true personal authenticity, just
Yeah.
becoming who you completely are?
Yeah, and it really makes me so sad that so many people have a hard time with that. They feel like there's these expectations, but the expectations of others are so much bigger in your head than they are for them.
Correct.
It sounds like a sad truth, but it's also a kind of liberating truth. Everyone is way more self-centered than you give them credit for.
That's right.
The things that you're worried about, people noticing about you or disliking about you, are so much bigger in your head than they will be in someone else's head. And honestly,
Mhm.
most of the time, if I've been scared to say something to someone or, maybe upset someone, it turns out that they're actually better at handling it than I was. They're nicer to me than I am to myself about
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Very good. This is from Mary Oliver. She said, "Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?"
Live it. Live it. I mean, the number one thing that people on their deathbeds say is that they wish they weren't so scared to do the things they wanted to do, and they wish they said, I love you more.
Mm, beautiful. This one's from Sophia Loren. She said, "The key to aging well is to avoid making old person noises when you move."
And the way you prevent that is by don't stop moving. Don't use your age as an excuse to stop working out or at least moving.
Very good. And this is our show anchor. It's from Goff. He said, "Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now."
Yeah, one of my favorite things my dad ever said to me was similar is why not start today? The time's going to pass either way,
Ah, it's great.
you know?
Very good. Yeah. Very good, Allison. These quotes aren't just life lessons. They mirror the truth-telling, fire-starting, fully alive energy that you bring into every space you enter. They echo the hope and conviction you inspire in everyone you touch. So thank you.
Thank you.
And now, my friends, I have a life lesson for you too. If Allison's story has stirred something in you, if it lifted your spirit, challenged your thinking, or reminded you of your own fully alive energy, then I invite you to share that energy with the incredible team at WITV7 who make this show possible. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage people in need. Every gift matters, big and small. With your support and their tireless work, lives are being transformed and our circle of love keeps expanding. So donate today because it'll do good and it'll make you feel good too. Allison, I love the honesty and humor that you bring to every part of your work and your life, and I admire the courage it takes to tell the truth, stand in your power, and help others stand in theirs. And I'm super happy that you've shared your curious, candid, and charismatic spirit on our show today. Will you please take a moment and share any parting remarks that you'd like to leave with our audience?
I just really appreciate you asking me on the show. This is a great conversation. You saw me laugh a bunch and you saw me almost cry. So I think I think we nailed the range of what we were going for today. Just thank everyone for listening too.
Very good. Thank you, Allison. And friends, because of stories like Allison's and listeners like you, that we've been named one of the top 100 life purpose podcasts worldwide, currently ranked at 17. So thank you. I appreciate your support for our mission and for sharing these stories of inspiration and purpose. I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Allison and reaching folks just like you ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to all things Allison Wojtowecz. Find her, friend her, follow her work, and discover the powerhouse blend of humor, health, and transformation that she brings into the world. Explore her stand-up comedy, her coaching, her blog, her recipes, and her company, Flabs to Fitness, where wellness meets real life honesty and impact. And also you can get a free book on our website, a free ebook. All the links are waiting for you in our show notes. And finally, from me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So go to happyliving.com right now and click Unlock Here and start unlocking the life you are meant to live, one that's filled with purpose, joy, and real significance. And once you start the unlocking, think about what we can do together, you and me, to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome, and this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.